We're selecting our Team Canada Olympic hockey roster for the upcoming Olympics in 2026. One of the hardest things I think I've done. It was really no wrong answer here. Obviously, there's going to be one that we'll get to as we go. I'll name my forward groups first within the lines, then you'll go on it, and then we'll discuss. So starting up with my top line, Connor McDavid is the center to Braden Point and Connor Bedard. Next up, I have Nathan McKinnon centering Sidney Crosby and Macklin Celebrini. Already got the two young guys in the top two lines there. Third line, Nick Suzuki centering Sam Reinhart and Mitch Marner. Fourth line, I have Mark Scheifele centering Brad Marchand and Brandon Hagel. And the extras, I went outside the box here a little bit. I went with Mark Stone and I went with Sam Bennett. And we'll talk about our snubs after you say yours.
I have McDavid centering Bedard and Celebrini.
So you went with
I went with it. I have Crosby centering McKinnon and Reinhart. I have Scheifele centering Marner and Point. I have Suzuki centering Stone and Marchand. My extra, Brandon Hagel and Tom Wilson.
Wait, say your fourth line again.
Suzuki, Stone, and Marchand.
Stone and Marchand. Okay, so what's our difference here? I have Sam Bennett, you have Tom Wilson. Is that the only thing?
I believe. Do you have anyone else?
No, I think I've said all the names you said.
Yeah.
We'll discuss it in a second here. Snubs for me, obviously the big one is Tom Wilson. I know how great of a year he's had, so we'll start there. The reason why I went with Sam Bennett over Tom Wilson is because of last year. Simple as that. I know, like I am a guy that says, look, you gotta put the guy that's recent in form as well in, and it's tough to do. But then Sam Bennett's in a situation where he's the top line center. He thrives if he's as a 2C, 3C type guy, or even on the wing. I have him as an extra for that reason. Listen, at the end of the day, this guy scored the biggest goal in the Four Nations to tie the game up. Was still that physical force. It was part of the brawl with Team USA. Obviously, they're not going to brawl in Olympics because you get kicked out of the game and I believe suspended for a game as well. The other thing I have him in there is because of his playoff run. I do believe that he's a big game player. And listen, this whole list is our list. Like, this is not us necessarily predicting it. I did put a little bit of prediction basis here that this guy's going to probably get selected. I do believe Sam Bennett will probably get selected. And I think he does deserve a spot because of what he did last year. I know this year hasn't been the greatest for him, and I understand that. And Tom Wilson,
and that's why
that's why I did not put both of them. I know you needed
one.
You needed at least one.
Right now, it's either or.
Yeah.
Again, Bennett's not a wrong choice here. Don't get me wrong, but I just picked Wilson because of form.
Current form, yeah.
Yeah, it comes to a point where you start feeling a little bit concerned, and I feel a little bit concerned about Sam Bennett.
Fair, 100%.
Because we don't know if last year's playoff run is legit. We don't know if last year's Four Nations is legit or the current one is legit. The good news for him, and that I'm more so like, on your side in terms of like, you might get that guy because he doesn't have to do everything. Like he is in that situation with Florida where he has to be the offensive guy and as well as be his normal pest that he is. But the main thing is it's not even that. It's just that who deserves it more at the moment.
It is.
It's not Sam Bennett. Like, that's clear.
100%. That's, like, to your point, Tom Wilson is doing both the pest and the scoring really
exactly.
well.
And I'm just picking who deserves it more at the moment. And
fair, 100%
that's
fair.
why I went down. That's why I picked Tom Wilson over Sam Bennett. That's the main.
The other thing that scares.
That's the main thing we have right there.
I think that's the main difference we have, and we'll talk about some of the other pieces
that
you want to talk about. Huh?
Do you have Hagel in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have him with Scheifele and Marchand. The one last thing about Tom Wilson that scares me a little bit, I'm not saying he's a dirty player, reckless, but we know, dirty, it depends on how you view him. We know he's a heavy hitting player, and that might scare me a little bit in the Olympics because sometimes they might just call up something that's going to be, might not be deserved to be called, whatever, that might get him kicked out of the game. The other thing is, like, I don't know, the rumors are the ice is a little bit smaller. That favors Tom Wilson because you can't really hide from him in that case, right? You can't use skill and speed with that sense overall. But that's the difference between we have with Bennett, and I just wanted to explain why I had Bennett. Obviously, a lot of people I know in the comments will agree with you, but Tom Wilson should be in this roster. He deserved to be slightly on it last year as well, and that's our case for that. Let's talk about the other big story about Team Canada forwards before we talk about our snubs and move on to the defense. We gotta talk about the young guys. The talk about Bedard and Celebrini. And listen, I am a guy that says, I am the type of guy that is, if you're playing well, I don't give a shit about your age. you deserve to be on the roster.
It's
and you make
simple
it.
as this. You're trying to pick the best possible team.
Yeah.
If Bedard and Celebrity are not on your team, you did not pick the best possible team.
Exactly.
That's the fact right now, because these guys are two guys that are top 5 in the NHL in points at the moment. I know Bedard has an injury right now, so that could be a fair reason depending on how healthy he is and if he is healthy in time. But in terms of play and all that stuff, in terms of us picking the roster, we want to pick the best possible roster. Bedard and Celebrity are a part of Team Canada's best possible roster.
Here's the thing. One, we did take only injuries we took into account are the people that are not here for the rest of the year or they're missing time after the Olympics. So Mark Stone is considered on this. I know he missed some time and he was injured. So we took that into account. But number 2, to my point earlier, listen, I know this is not meant to be an all-star game. This is actual serious of tournament that you want to win, especially hockey coming back to the Olympics for the first time since 2014. The point, though, at the end of the day is the way Bedard has been playing. I understand if you're concerned about the size and all that stuff. Sure, whatever. Listen, we're going to be doing our Team USA one as well in their next video, our next episode. The thing that Team USA did base their 4 nations off of last year, they didn't go with the best players necessarily. They went with a team that an NHL type roster fit, picking guys like Brock Nelson, Trocheck, and all of them because they wanted to pick some teams like Sam Bennett type roles. The thing is that you need 1 or 2 guys like Sam Bennett. At the end of the day, I went with a route that's more talent and that can give you offensive production. I get that Bedard and Celebrini are like, especially Bedard, these guys might not kill penalties at the moment, but that's why I have a line of Suzuki, Marner, and Reinhart together. I know compared to you, I have Reinhart a little bit lower. At the end of the day, that's still a talented ass line that they'll get you points and play good defense. Because it says Nick Suzuki's that center that will play overall. Can play all around. He's gonna be their main shutdown type guy.
Here's the thing.
No, last point I do want to make is so if people are saying that because their age and all that, get that out of here because you guys made a big mistake in 06 by not taking Crosby. Celebrini, I think, is in regardless because he played in the Worlds in the spring tournament after the playoffs. So I feel like he was gonna be in because of that regardless, and obviously he's playing like a Hart Trophy candidate so far this year. But at the same time, people are still questioning Bedard. He needs to get in there because you have that shot with McDavid's playmaking as well. And the reason why I put Point with them as well, Point is struggling this year for the Lightning compared to other years. He'll fit fine, and McDavid was his partner during the 4 Nations for the latter part of the games as well. But overall, Bedard, Celebrini, if you're telling themselves these guys are not the best players in the NHL this year and do not deserve to get in, you are dead wrong because they deserve to be in this roster.
Here's the thing. The fifth part's bullshit too because you already have enough two-way talent.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to... Whatever it is, Wilson or Sam Bennett between us, they're going to provide. Yeah. They're going to contribute offensively and defensively. Suzuki's going to do that. Mark Stone's going to do that. Brad Marchand's going to do that.
Sam Reinhart's
going to do that. Mitch Marner, if I did not say him, he's going to do that as well. And to an extent, Crosby and McKinnon might do it just because they'll freaking take this serious as well. Look, I didn't look too much into the lines and all that stuff combination, but the one I'm going to talk about is the top line for me, which is the young guys and McDavid, is because I want to have a pure offensive talent line, and this is where you're going to get for that. And obviously you're going to have a nice little shutdown line as well, which was my 4th line in Suzuki, Stone, and Marchand. You could obviously flip it back and forth.
So who are your extras in this case?
Hagel and Wilson.
Okay, so mine was Bennett and Stone.
So I have Stone in because Stone.
I swapped Stone and Hagel essentially.
Because Stone is playing really well too. I'm not saying Hagel hasn't, but Hagel has. And then obviously you have the playmaking ability and offensive ability of Scheifele, Point, Marner, Crosby. Literally, this team has everything, right? Whatever teams we showed. So they don't need to make a roster spot for a pure defensive guy because everything we have in here, people can do both. People can kill penalties in here. People can play their defensive game. And on top of that, the offense is going to be there because it's freaking Olympics. So in that case, Bedard and Celebrini have to be in no matter what. Because fit-wise, it doesn't make sense to leave them off. And also age-wise, it's pretty stupid if that's the case.
Yeah, again, we're not going to talk about too much about USA, but we saw the mistake they made that last year was scratching Connor for the final game, Paul Connor in the final game, and not picking guys that are meant to be your guys' scores like Tage Thompson and them. And again, stay tuned for our Team USA video because that will be the next episode. But the last person I want to talk about is a guy that did not make the 4 Nation roster. I know off camera, you said he deserves to be in it, but you don't think he will get in ultimately. Mark Scheifele. Because I feel like it's going to be... no wrong answers because we're going to talk about our snubs right after this. But this guy needs to get in. He's the one reason why I went. Like, I know the Jets were struggling before Hellebuck came back recently, but at least he was still producing to a certain extent. Him and Connor obviously were leading the way over there. This guy needs to get in. Again, he could play the fourth line role. He could play. I have him with Marchand and Hagel. Obviously, Marchand has been amazing for the Florida Panthers as well, and we know how he's going to take this international tournament, like this Canada team roster, seriously as well. So you agree 100% that Scheifele deserves to be similar to the Bedard and Celebrini point?
No, it's not even that, man.
Yeah.
We cannot say that. We cannot be pissed off about leaving or about Scheifele being left off last year and not put him in our predictions.
Yeah.
That just makes us hypocritical.
Yeah.
That's also a big thing too. And on top of that, he was good last year. He's playing good still.
He's been amazing
now.
since the snub.
Yeah, exactly. He's been amazing. So overall, in that case, Scheifele needs to be in. And then going into the missions now, look, the biggest one for me is obviously going to be Seth Jarvis, because I thought Seth Jarvis did really well in the last year's Four Nations. So obviously, people who did well last year are going to have a good case to play again this year. But again, that's a tough one to leave off just because I thought he did play really good last year. Cirelli was a little bit easier for me because I knew Cirelli was okay, but Hagel was just better.
Let's just say this. Cirelli's getting it.
He obviously...
Because, again, this is ours. If I'm to predict something, I think Cirelli's getting in because of...
Sure, yeah, but this is ours. And Cirelli's off, right? Because the main reason is I was going to pick one of Hagel or Cirelli. In my opinion, I thought Hagel was a better player last year in the Four Nations than Cirelli. So that's why I went with Brandon Hagel.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Konechny's wasn't good enough to make it this year. I know I wasn't surprised last year because I think I had him in my thing last year. But the other misses I had, I think a couple of big ones are, obviously my biggest one was Tom Wilson, but Wyatt Johnston has been unbelievable for the Stars this year. He deserves to have a spot in here. Bo Horvat, before his injury, especially, even like if people still have him in the roster, you're not wrong, because that guy's been having an amazing year this year for the Islanders. The Islanders are obviously in contention of a playoff spot this year as well. So he's a big omission. Like I said, you can't really have a wrong answer. You already said Seth Jarvis. And I mentioned Cirelli. And obviously for me, he's not going to get in. But John Tavares has been amazing for the Leafs. He was one of their bright spots to the start of the year. I know they've been up and down throughout the year, but John Tavares is the one consistent guy over there in terms of the forward group, along with obviously OEL and Matthew Nisenthal. But like in terms of Team Canada's perspective, he should deserve consideration. Do I think he'll get in? No. Do I think he should get in over these guys? No. But I believe he deserves a shout out.
Yeah, I feel like another guy you're gonna give a shout out is Dylan Gunther.
Yeah.
Again,
there's a lot. We could put a list of a lot of people.
There's a lot. And it'll be a lot for everyone. Move on to defense.
Yeah, before we move on to our defense, as mentioned, we're going to be doing a USA team as well. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell, because you do not want to miss that episode. That episode will be coming pretty much a couple of days later after this one. And we want to hear your thoughts in the comments below, what your Team Canada looks like. Obviously, us being Canadian, we're biased. We're rooting for Team Canada to win it all the way through. And we will be having Olympic preview when that time comes as well. You guys do not want to miss that. We appreciate everybody who has supported us so far. Keep grinding. We want to get to 200 subscribers by the end of the year. So please keep hitting that subscribe button and like this video as well. But defense.
I'll go first. First line. First pair is pretty easy. Taze McCarr. Second pairing, I have Morrissey and Chychrun. Third pairing, I have Shea Theodore and Travis Sanheim. And as my extras, I have Matthew Schaefer and Colton Parayko.
So we went a little different in this one. Obviously, listen, you could make it easy and pick all the 8 guys that were
honestly, I might have done that.
Yeah, because why change something that was not broken?
Yeah, honestly,
I get it.
Again, I 100% agree with that too. If that's the case, because the defense was successful last year.
But for me, Taze McCarr, obviously number 1, line pair right there. Number 2, defensive pair, I have Shea Theodore and Josh Morrissey. I feel like those 4 were easy locks.
Yeah.
Now here, this is where you could get a little bit different if you really wanted to. I went with Thomas Harley and Colton Parayko as my third pairing, and my extras are Schaefer. I went with the 18-year-old. He's been playing amazing, and Drew Doughty. And let me start off with here right now. First, we'll start off with the young guy, get it out of the way. I said the same thing I said about Bedard and Celebrini. Matthew Schaefer, you need some type of super young legs in the defensive line as well. I know McCarr is relatively young compared to like other guys.
Agree. It's not just young. He's been playing good and he deserves to be it.
He deserves to be here. Obviously, like I have left out Chychrun.
It's not about young legs for me. It's just that he's playing really good and he deserves to be there.
Yeah,
it's simple as that.
Just my point is because he's gonna be more of an extra for me anyways.
Yeah, he's gonna be an extra.
Build that experience up with him. The reason why I have him, that's the main reason why I had him there as well. He's obviously played his way into the roster because he is gonna be selected He got selected for the drug testing pool as well. If I'm were to predict if he's gonna get in, I don't think he'll get in, unfortunately. But in our roster, he deserves to be in. Drew Doughty, the reason why I went with him here. Listen, I want a veteran guy there that's been there and through everything. He was there as a young kid when 2010, and now he's gonna be there as the older guy. Even when he played for the Four Nations, he did not look out of place. People thought he was going to look slow and stuff. He looked fine. Drew Doughty, I think that you need a veteran presence in the veteran respected presence. I'm not saying the other guys are not respected, but like a veteran respected on the defensive side of things. I feel like that's Drew Doughty, and if he needs to step in and play, he could step in and play as well. And that's why I put Schaefer and Doughty, because of that young guy, old guy factor in there as well. That's the main reason why I have Drew Doughty.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with that, but I just went with. It isn't more just. I went with Parayko over him basically just because I can't tell you why. I'll be honest with you.
No wrong answers.
It was just a hunch. The main one I want to talk about for me is leaving Harley out and putting in Chicharin.
Yeah.
Chicharin has been playing at an almost Norris level this year.
Yeah, he's
honestly
one of my biggest snubs for the defense.
He's in the Norris. He should be getting Norris votes this year if he continues his play. So that's the main reason why I wanted Chicharin in. And the reason why I chose him over Harley is because Harley got an injury this year. And ever since that injury, he hasn't been playing really good hockey. So his form at the moment is not good. Main reason why I left Sam Bennett out. Again, overall, if you keep it similar, you have Harley and Doughty in. 100% fair, just because it worked last year. And defensively, our team was very successful, especially when you had Binnington in net up until the overtime where you had to protect Binnington a lot more. That is totally fair. I'm not going to be upset at that at all. I just opened it up for Chicharin and Schaefer.
Yeah, like Chicharin was really good offensive this year. Thank God you're representing Canada, even though you're an American-born guy. So I'll take that. But yeah, he was my biggest snub. I agree with everything you said there. If whoever has him in the roster, I get it. Travis Sanheim, I ended up going with Parayko instead of Sanheim there, and obviously I gave the love to the young guy who did Schaefer and the old guy in Doughty. Mackenzie Weegar, someone who I thought could have made the team last year. He should have made the team last year, although I'm not saying it was wrong that he took Sanheim and Parayko. That is another guy. And another guy I looked at was Noah Dobson. And I know some people are going to throw in guys like Evan Bouchard, but he's not going to fit on this, especially like defensive flaws that are heavily against him there. And then on top of that, you already have Makar running power play one. Like, what is his role going to be overall? But that is our defense for the side of things. Do you have any other snubs that you potentially looked at?
Those Harley and Doughty are my main ones because they're
were on the roster last year.
Yeah, that's well. Goaltending.
Here's the goaltending. This is where I said at the beginning of the video, there is no wrong answers usually for this, especially on the defensive side. However, there will be one really wrong answer if you do not take this guy in. But let's just get my names out of the way. Jordan Binnington, Darcy Kemper, and Logan Thompson.
Logan Thompson, Jordan Binnington. I went with Mackenzie Blackwood.
So,
again, just going to say this right now. We're going to get to Logan Thompson's point. Scott Wedgwood definitely has a case there. Darcy Kemper, for you, obviously has a case. For me, has a case too as well.
Yeah.
And then Mackenzie Blackwood. So at the end of the day, there are options there for the backup. Sam Montamo does not deserve to be in because he hasn't played good. Aiden Hill, same thing, does not deserve to be in as well because of the play. Binnington, and the main reason he's in because he hasn't been that great either.
He's been horrible this year.
Binnington, the only reason he's in because he had success last year.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. If this guy is not on the team, Logan Thompson, I will riot.
Okay, cops, he does not mean legit. But Logan Thompson, listen, there's got to be an investigation if he doesn't make it.
100%.
I don't care if he doesn't have the case with Bruce Cassidy and Pete DeBoer and all that. Logan Thompson is probably the favorite to win the Vezina this year. And listen, he probably should start game one. I will give Binnington game one and give him a short leash because it's not a 4-game tournament anymore. This is, you have 3 round robin games and then obviously the knockout stages, depending on how far you go. Obviously in Canada's case, they want to get to the finals. So you're looking at about 6, maybe, around 6 games, right? Because there's no round of 16 in this shit. So it's like quarterfinal. Yeah, so 6 games. Like, listen, at the end of the day, Binnington gets game 1, Logan Thompson game 2, figure it out from there. Who was the better goalie? Listen, overall, our goaltender 1 should be Logan Thompson. If he's not selected here, genuinely, there needs to be some type of investigation on this. Like, what did he do? Like, did he sleep with someone's daughter, wife? I don't know. Like,
might have, man.
Yeah, like, at the end... at the end of the day,
There's no other story.
there's no way like he should be missed from this roster. Simple as that. I don't know what else to say. This would be the one incorrect answer. We obviously had a heated rant about this last year when he did not get selected for the Four Nations. We're like, whatever. But this year, he completely outplayed the other two guys. If I see Montebo and Hill even considered, it's wrong. Listen, no disrespect to both the Woods and Kemper, but if those two, let's say Blackwood and Wedgwood both make it and Binnington, I'm sorry, I'm still going to be like, what the hell?
Man.
It's still going to be incorrect. As much as they deserve to be in the roster, they do not deserve it over Logan Thompson. And listen, the third spot at the end of the day, I gave it to Darcy Kemper. The guy has a little bit more experience to come playoff, like with the playoffs as well. I just went with more of a guy that's just been there.
Yeah, but there's only one conversation here, and who the starter should be, and that is Logan Thompson. That's no debate about that. I feel like all of Canada should agree with that.
Do you ultimately give Jordan Binnington game one?
I would understand it.
But you wouldn't agree with it.
But I would understand it, but I would still put Logan Thompson.
That's fair. But like I don't think there's no other really goalies to add here because again the Canada goalie pool is already limited as it is, which is why you cannot mess this up and you better be taking Logan Thompson because again, Vezina, front runner, and I know I'm repeating myself, but this thing deserves to be repeated over again. And this is it. I'm gonna pull up a Becky Lynch here. This is not us saying it. You have TSN saying this. You have Sportsnet saying this. You have American networks that are predicting Team Canada rosters and other athletic and all these guys are saying it. Logan Thompson is clearly goaltender number one if you want to put it in football terms and needs to be on the roster. But that pretty much wraps it up for us. Like I said, the main thing was the goaltender needed to be correct. Everything else was pretty hard to predict in our opinion. But we want to hear your comments down below. Who do you think should be on this Team Canada roster? Do we have it right? Do you have other pieces that need to get in? Keep in mind, if you think we snubbed someone, tell us who you would take out and why. Because it just can't be like, oh, Bo Horvath should be in. But who are you taking out? We want to hear a reason for that, a valid reason for that as well. This is my roster. This is his own roster as well. This is our rosters overall at the end of the day.
This is what we want to see. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
I'm not saying our roster is 100% correct, right either. No, you might have a roster we agree with as well. It's just hard to predict because there's too much talent.
Ours is the only right one.
There's too much talent in the NHL that it is bound to be snubs out there. But once again, hit the subscribe button. We are just past 150 subscribers here. Thank you so much for the support we've had this past month, especially. We want to try to get to 200 by the end of the year. That's about 2-ish weeks still remaining. We would love to hit that. And other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.